When I went out to campaign, I remember making one statement that was fundamental. I said in my administration, there will be no money to steal. And part of that journey of making sure that there is no money to steal is through this digitization. Because through digitization, we connect service delivery to revenue collection. And you can see for yourselves that because of digitization, especially of government services and government revenue collection programs, we are seeing phenomenal increase in revenues. I gave an example the other day of KWS. You all remember what we did with KWS. When we digitized KWS and insisted that they now must all gate fees and services offered by KWS must be on e-citizen, we had a lot of pushback. The tour operators did not want it. KWS staff were reluctant. And I remember calling Kanga and telling him, my friend, it's a fait accompli. The decision has been made. Get everybody to comply. There is no escape. Look at what has happened. In fact, those who were against the digitization of government services at the KWS even orchestrated, in our gates, long queues. Oh, this system is not working. The tourists are not happy because now there is a long queue. Because tour operators were charging tourists $100 and paying government $50. And they didn't want a disruption of that system. Now what has happened? We insisted, the system is working. I listened to Aisha today from KWS. I listened to Susan, and they were giving us wonderful stories about success. In fact, they have reduced. We still have government agencies that, yes, they have come to the citizen platform, but once in a while, they retreat to go and pay or use alternative means of payments, including games with some banks. I want a record in the last 3 months of government agencies that are already on the e-citizen platform, but have decided to use alternative means with gray spaces so that we can take action against the people who are undermining transparency in the collection of public resources. Mr. Ochieng, I want that list on my desk in the next 3 days. Yes. We cannot continue to collect public money in gray areas and in dark corners. We said that all the 1,100 plus pay bills that were being used by all manner of entities, money that we were not sure whether it was ending up in public coffers, be closed. I am happy all of them have been closed. But there cannot be another route. We want a place where the public can know this is the portal where their money is coming. We can follow up on revenues for every public entity, and we can know what citizens are paying for gets to the public coffers. I know those people are listening to me, the people who still want to play games, and I want to tell them there will be no escape for anybody to continue practices that undermine transparency in the collection of public funds. I have a list. I was sent a list this morning. Give me my phone. I was sent a list this morning of people who are still mangamangering. Yeah? And I want to put them on notice. The people who still are playing games with us. The CEOs of the following entities are put on notice. The National Cancer Institute of Kenya, Kenya Hospital Authority Trust Fund, Kenya Nutritionists and Dietitians Institute, Health Records and Information Managers Board, National Syndemic Disease Control Council, Occupational Therapy Council of Kenya, Digital Health Authority. You are a new entity, but you must comply. Kenya Biovax Institute Limited. I know the CEO. Please tell him I am putting him on notice. Kenya National Public Health Institute, Kenya Health Human Resource Authority, Kenya Water Institute, Tanathi Waterworks Development Agency, Water Sector Trust Fund, Kenya Engineering Technology Registration Board, Kenya Ports Authority, Independent Police Oversight Authority, Private Security Regulatory Authority, Nairobi International Financial Center, Kenya Reinsurance Corporation, Financial Reporting Center, Kenya Institute of Supplies Management, Consolidated Bank of Kenya, Development Bank of Kenya, Kenya Accountants and Secretaries National Examination Board, Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Kenya, Institute of Certified Secretaries, Energy and Petroleum Regulation Authority, Kenya Power Company Limited, Rural Electrification and Renewable Energy, Geothermal Development Company, GDC, Kenya Petroleum Refineries Limited, National Defense University, the Kenya Space Agency, the Kenya Shipyard Limited.
As the Chair of Finance, we are looking at efficiency in the Office of the Controller of Budget. We'll continuously call out that office so that we eliminate the bureaucracies and inefficiency in that office to facilitate a release of funds. I know most of the counties haven't received their September equitable share and October, despite the fact that the money is CRF. We don't want at the end of the financial year to be called out for not spending the money, and yet the Office of the Control of Budget is the one that has problems. So I know my colleagues, we are all united to call upon the office to be efficient, to facilitate financing programs in the entire 47 counties.
I think the devolution experiment is failing, if we want really to be factual. And my colleague from Kakamega, you are making statements after statements, trying to make sure that the counties get their rights under the constitutional arrangement. And you're proud for you making those constant demands. But I am saying the devolution experiment is failing, because if you look at the constitutional arrangement or why counties are there, and what counties are supposed to do, and the resources we get from the exchequer on a yearly basis. Without a doubt, if we cannot resolve and determine the rightful share of counties on revenues collected at the national level, we may go back to the failed regional system that we had at the beginning of independence. And I was asking my colleague from Bungoma how much he gets in terms of development. You know, a lot of members of the public, when they hear that counties get money, they look at the global sum. Some counties, so to speak, like Bungoma is getting more than 11 billion. But if you look at the development component of 4 billion and really analyze from what counties are supposed to do, even in the area of blue economy, we are put in a situation where we cannot deliver in terms of a constitutional mandate. And I think this is something that as the Lake Region Economic Bloc and the Council of Governors, we must continue to have that debate.
I can say without fear of contradiction that the new social health insurance will work and it will benefit the people of Kenya. Kuna matatizo kidogo saa hizi. Right now as we speak, those with chronic illnesses and emergency cases, they are not having a lot of problems. Wale wako na shida ya ugonjwa wa moyo, ugonjwa wa figo. Shida mahali iko ni kwa outpatient na the lower levels of the health facilities, level 2, level 3, and because of inadequate diagnostic equipment, and the referral system is yet to be worked out properly. Those problems, we will finish them, and the new social health insurance is going to work for the benefit of the people of Kenya.
Just how essential it is to have a system capable of withstanding unexpected pressures. I hope Parliament can go on to enact the bill that we proposed that time. You remember, Your Excellency, I was chairing the COVID committee, and we came up with a bill on pandemic response and management. You know, yes, COVID was one in 90, 100-year pandemic, but time and time again, something can come up. We need to, and we realize we have a soft underbelly as a country when it comes to this quick response. What protocols are invoked? How do we invoke those protocols but remember the rights, the human rights issues of the citizens? You know, how do we marshal resources beyond the normal bureaucracy of getting things done when a pandemic is declared? And what then determines the threshold of having declaring something a pandemic? That is legislation that I think is still important. The draft bill is there, Your Excellency. I hope you can be able to look at it within cabinet, so that we have a clear protocol of engaging when a pandemic strikes, because you never know, you never plan for a pandemic. Strengthening emergency response capabilities, and you know in Nairobi we always have a lot of these emergencies, unfortunately. After this I have to go to Mbagathi. We have a lot of casualties from a fire yesterday in Majengo. We've been having so many fires across. We need to be able to enable people at the lowest level respond to this and also to prevent this from happening. And finally, this conference provides us with a valuable opportunity for collaborative solutions and knowledge sharing. I want to assure you, our partners and those from the private sector, Nairobi means business. We are open, we're open-minded, we're ready to hear your ideas, we're ready to remove the red tape that for many of you have prevented your ideas from being taken up by government. For those in academia, there is no better place to actually pursue your research and study than Nairobi County. It is the biggest health service provider in this country. We provide more health services than any other county because of the population we have. And remember, health is devolved. So which better classroom than Nairobi County government?